Hi everyone, and welcome to the second episode of what we could call as Melissa Table Talk. So this week we are going to talk about personal branding. As a marketer and as well as an entrepreneur, it's very important for personal branding because I would like to know, or people would like to know, what I'm all about. And we also know how often people actually search online for you or as a person before they actually call you up for an interview. And after talking to so many people and observing people's online presence, these are some tips that I have for all of you out there. So for those who have just joined in, I'm Melissa, the CEO of Source Inc., and we're going to talk about tips on your personal branding. So the most important one is to get web presence. So some people are telling me that, oh, I don't want to be on the internet, I don't want to have a blog because I don't want to share a lot of private things about my life. And my answer to that is that you don't have to share everything about yourself. We all know that there is a level of privacy that you can maintain, but what you should share is what you want other people to know about you. And we all know that before you are called up for an interview, people will search on the internet for you. They will find out who you are, who are your friends, are you related to anything, do you have any shady businesses, etc. So even when we look for partnerships in business, we often do this, what we call business scanning. So we always see whether that person is a potential business partner, and if he or she is, what's the track record, what's the reputation, what's his or her expertise. So some people say that, oh, I just want it to be clean. And yes, you may Google yourself, search until the cows come home, and that's clean data for you, about you. But there is a very, very fine line between being clean and reputable and just being plain boring. So my tip for this is very important, is that you should have some sort of social media presence, and each social media platform is different. And you want to project and market yourself as an expert in whatever field or industry you are at. And the only way that you can do this is by publishing something, your intellectual property. Write about yourself, what you have observed, and exactly like what I'm doing now as well. You can come up with a video or a vlog about your expert view, what you have observed, and what you have learned. So that is very, very important. And really, the excuse about, I don't want to have internet, I don't like to share, no, sorry, not internet, I don't like to share my private stuff online. I had this conversation with a chiropractor, and he was asking, like, yes, I know I need to be on social media, but he doesn't want to share anything personal. He only wants to share about his clinic. And he was asking a little bit like, should I do that, or should I come up with a separate one for my private one? And he found that, managing all the social media platforms was a bit of a hassle. The interesting thing is that he is a very interesting person. So my advice to him was, again, you don't have to share everything online. But you need to project yourself as human. So if you're only going to show about, your clinical stuff, it comes across as a little bit salesy, and that you're only interested in selling your service. But if you show things about things that you love, things that you like, then you're more personable, and people who share the same values will then naturally want to know more about you, and then go to your clinic, go to your practice. So similar. And I do know that marketing and trying to schedule all the social media management is a little bit tough, which is why at Source Inc. we have created something called Source Site. So you can blog on it, you can post up your Instagram, and when you post up on your Instagram, it feeds onto your Source Site as well as to your Source Inc. page, and you can also post it up on your Facebook, whichever channels you are at. So that's a great thing that we have created, because we know that it's not easy, and we want to automate the whole thing for you. And that's why I feel that, well, again, different social media platform is for different things. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions so far First, about the web presence. Oh, I just remembered this funny thing. This young man, he once told me that he wanted to become a digital marketer. That is fine, but if you're a digital marketer, but the only thing that you have in a social media account is Facebook, what does that say about you? It doesn't give you credibility. So think about your niche, think about your industry, and therefore choose what platforms you want to be. Of course, the second thing is then you need to churn out quality content. People are always, once after you've got the web presence, please strategize what you want to be known for. That's why I said, when you just have a website or a blog or a social media platform, it doesn't mean that you air everything and anything under the sun. Strategize exactly what you want to be known for before you start posting it. For example, if you're a chef, then of course it makes a lot of sense to take photos or videos of you cooking, your food, the way you present it, and so people will know that you are human, because we humans are all multifaceted. And this is what attracts both potential employees as well as partnerships. So of course, personal branding, the next thing is that you have to think a little bit like you're your personal branding marketing machine. And you know, you want people to think that you are an expert, as I've mentioned. So some people think that, they test their various spellings of their names and everything they've written in a CV or resume, and they come out clean and dirt free. And at the top is their LinkedIn profile. They all think that this is good enough. The truth is they are wrong. While having a web presence that is that is digitally free of dirt is good, but as I've mentioned before, there's a very fine line between good, clean, and then boring. You don't want to give people the impression that you're boring, right? And people really are Googling everybody else nowadays, so you have to get on board with it. And you want to also show people that you are not just your credentials. And when I say just your credentials, that means like your degree, your diploma, or whatever you've studied through the years, because your classmates are probably doing the same thing. So what makes you stand out from the rest? I heard of a story of this business acquaintance who is only 23 years old, but she managed to clinch a deal away from a very senior marketing manager who had like 10 years of experience. And what gave this 23-year-old the edge over the older person is because her accomplishments, not her credentials, but accomplishments, what she has published, her whole portfolio, which she puts it out. That was what won her the deal. She showed her clients the value that she can add, not just experience, because anybody can stay in a job for 10 years, but what gives you that cutting edge over the other person? And even if you do not close the deal straight away, it is always important to build a relationship with potential people. And I've learned over the years that people are more willing to work with people that they kind of know. They may not know them personally, but from word of mouth, from what they read on the internet, if they find that you are personable, that's when they will want to work with you. Which is why I find it surprising even until today when people it's come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you're Melissa, I've heard so much about you." It kind of shocks me. I'm like, from where? Where did you heard about me from? And then recently I was at the Youth Entrepreneurship Symposium, and the students were actually Googling me, plus of course my colleagues, before we actually stepped in, because that's how they want to know who's judging them, who's going to mentor them as well. So you see, it's very, very important to, shout a little bit about yourself. I know in Asian culture, we always like to say that, no, you need to be humble. Yes, nobody's asking you to go over the top and be arrogant, but if you have done something and you're proud of it, you should show it up on your work, because who knows, somebody might be looking for exactly your talent and your experience. So that is why the web presence and having your intellectual property up there is very, very important. And there are so many avenues that are free. as I've mentioned, there's LinkedIn Pulse and also there's Source Site. So it's free. You just join at www.sourceinc.com. You register yourself, and then you have a community to talk to, and then you can also start your Source Site, which can double up as your blog, and you can put all your social media presence there. If you want it to be a little bit more professional, definitely you can. The fact of the matter is, no matter who you are, it is a career that you need to brand yourself. And in this day and age, it requires a little bit more work and finesse, and it's actually not that difficult to build. Because as I've mentioned before, for Source Site, we kept it very simple. It's a drag and drop system because we know not everybody can code. And there's so many beautiful templates to choose from. And all you need to do is just upload your photos, let people get a feel of what you are all about, and be just true to yourself. Because if you are on my Instagram or my Facebook, you really will probably know that, okay, Melissa, she's a COO of Source Inc. and she loves dogs. I think that comes out very strong in all my social media platforms. And so people who like animals, they'll immediately, oh yeah, Melissa likes animals. And it's also a great way for you, before you go to an interview or networking session, to polish up your profile. Because who knows, when you're out exchanging cards the next day, definitely people will be taking your card and not going to your website, but actually Googling and searching. So before they actually go back to your website and check out whether what you say there is the same as what other profiles are. So the whole idea is about consistency. It's putting yourself out there to be an expert, whichever industry you are at. The web presence, again, as I've mentioned earlier on, is very, very important. And we have made it simple for you to test out, to drag and drop, create your own blog, market yourself. What do you want to be known as? What do you want to be known for? If you are very artistic, if you are a graphic designer, all the more you need to market yourself, put your portfolio out there. Because for all you know, people may be searching graphic designer specializing in, anime. And if that's your portfolio out there, people like it, they see it, they will help spread the word about you to other people. So that's the social networking aspect of it. Okay, so I've been doing a lot of talking and a lot about the web presence and about how you can market yourself. Another thing also that I'm sure you've heard many, many times is that the first impression counts. And there is no second chance for a first impression, right? So again, imagine when you are sending out your CVs to all these potential employers, and nowadays you don't need to put your photo there. They look at your credentials. What do you think the next thing they do is? They Google search about you to see whether there is any history and whatever you wrote on your CV is true and correct. And when they do that, they will discover more interesting things about you and see whether will you be a good fit or not to the company. So all the more, I really, really encourage all of you to start up something, and of course, if you're blogging, blog quality content, as I've mentioned. Of course, it's easy to treat it like a rant diary and then da. That may be true 20 years ago. I still can remember when I first started out my blog. It was a whole series of just complaints, ranting, and then after that, I just wondered, like, why am I doing this online as well? So maybe some of you were thinking about that way, but now blog has evolved a lot. It's about representing you, how you want the world to see yourself. So again, that's my advice for everyone. It's so crucial to build your personal brand. And my partner will go so far as to say that you should have your own domain. So for example, I like to be known as Melfun sometimes. That's my nickname on all social media platforms. So my blog is very simple. It's just sourceinc.com/Melfun. For her, she also has it in her name. She totally bought the whole domain, which you may want to do that too, because people will be searching and that's the top part. And some people were thinking, yeah, but who would want to read that? And who would be really, do I really want to let everybody know anything and everything about me? And do people actually read? The question, I think that is wrong. The question that you should ask is, do I have quality content? And a coach once told me and a bunch of other people in the same program that we are all sitting on our own mountain of values. No matter how young you are, if you're like 20 years old, you still have 20 years of experience in something. And you may have been observing certain things as well. So don't think that just because you're young or just because you're too old that you can't start your own website. You can. And if you don't want to start your own website, then it's a matter of publishing your blog post somewhere else. As I've mentioned, you can do it via LinkedIn Pulse, or if you're just a member with us, you can always submit an article, because then you don't have to feel the pressure of writing a blog post every week or every 2 weeks, depending on the frequency. So again, the whole idea is to just write something, get it distributed somewhere, and for Source Inc., we allow all our members to submit an article. But of course, we have to curate it to see whether, it is suitable for our audience, and we will edit it along the way. So that's great for you as well. Okay, do you have any questions? I'll be taking a few questions. And don't mind, I'm having a flu, that's why I sound a little bit nasal right now. Another thing about personal branding, of course, is about the way you present yourself and the clothes that you wear. So personal stylists also say that if you want to dress, you better dress to impress, because you are your walking billboard. So this is not my forte, of course, but I do realize that when I go for interviews and if I'm wearing like a sundress, nobody's going to take me seriously, right? So I have to wear the corporate wear when I go for an interview. But of course, if you're a creative sort, then you can have a bit more leeway, and all the more if I see a designer who says that he's a designer but he dresses really, really boring, then you kind of like scratch your head and wonder whether is he really very creative, correct? That's normal human behavior. So again, when it comes to your personal brand, what do you want to be known for? And it always helps to just wear an attire and get your friends and your family to actually tell you what their impression is of you wearing that attire before you go out for some important meeting or some networking session. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Please put in the comments what you want to see or hear from us next week. And we've got some exciting things lined up, because in August onwards, we will have fitness people to talk about tips on how to keep fit, healthy. And yeah, again, if you have any suggestions or you really want to know about certain things, be it fashion, makeup, beauty, stylist, please write in the comments what you want to know. Then we will go and talk about it. We will arrange it and schedule it. We are going live every Thursday at 8:30. Next week, we will probably have our CMO, Edmund, who will sing for us. So catch out for that, or look out for that, sorry. If there is nothing more, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next week.